episode of the Accommodation Show. This week, I'm joined by the awesome Annie Sloan from the Host Co. We're going to be talking about all things upsells and how you could be making more money in your accommodation business, but at the same time, improving the guest experience. Now, what I'd like you to do right now, just before we get going, is to like and subscribe below, leave us your comments as we go through the episode, and make sure you watch the whole thing from the start to finish because you will find there's invaluable insights that you will gain from it. Have a fantastic day, and let's get straight into it. And hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Accommodation Show. I'm very pumped this week because we've got the wonderful Annie Sloan on the show from the Host Co. Welcome to the Accommodation Show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
We talked at the end of last year about all things short-term rentals, about amenities, about upsells, about making more money, improving the guest experience. And what was lovely about our conversation was that I genuinely just wanted to talk to you for ages, but we couldn't because we didn't have enough time. And this is the first time I'm seeing you since then. And I'm so excited to share, I guess, you with our audience. Annie, I would love you to introduce yourself. Let everybody know a bit about your background because it's quite interesting. What you do at the Host Co. And how you fell into this particular business.
Oh, wow. Great to meet you all. I am CEO and co-founder of the Host Co. And we are a company that plugs in instant amenities to all types of short-term rentals, things like massage, chef, charcuterie board, even in-home shopping, so that hosts have a new ancillary revenue stream.
Wow.
Yeah. Mouthful, and we'll get into it. Briefly about my background. So I've been a short-term rental host for years. Prior to Airbnb existing, I used to rent out my place on Craigslist, which, I mean, that's sketchy. I literally would ask for a copy of a license, and that's it. And then I would leave town and go to like Guatemala or, Australia or something, and, leave my apartment in San Francisco. No insurance, right? As you do. But have gotten much more professional over the years with that. Prior to the Host Co., I was a creative director at Facebook. Prior to that, I was a creative director at Twitter. Don't come at me. I don't work for either company anymore. But throughout all of the time of being a short-term rental host, and my co-founder runs a big property management company, we've just been talking about this huge gap, which is guests are asking questions, and we're unable to solve so many of their problems, right? With essentially amenities, because it's not automated. So that's how we got to where we are today.
Yeah, amazing. Look, and I love your background because I quite enjoy talking to kind of creative people that are thinking out of the box. And I think that within short-term rentals, you need a lot of that innovation. And I also think, and this is really important, is that a lot of the listeners of this are accommodation professionals. So people across the industry. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're running a campsite, if you're renting out, tiny homes. If you're in a massive hotel, you also need to be thinking about the same principles and this evolution in technology and as things are actually changing. And I love that you can bring a fresh angle to this and some of the problems that we're facing, or it's not even some of the problems, but also creating solutions for our guests that we might not have thought in the past. So it's kind of bringing technology into the accommodation space. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
Really, that is so right on. I think that particularly through the pandemic, one thing that we've really seen, a couple of mega trends here are, one, obviously short-term rental has been booming, and now hotels are back to booming as well, too. The short-term rental industry, the industry awareness was about 40% pre-COVID, and now it's 80%. So people who had never stayed in a short-term rental before, now have stayed in a short-term rental, and they have different expectations staying in a short-term rental. The other thing that happened during the pandemic was on-demand services. So, for example, I probably ordered groceries online, twice prior to the pandemic. Yeah. Now I'm like, little Lord Fauntleroy. I'm like, I'm not going to the grocery store, But we're all so used to those on-demand services and having things available to us. And those two huge huge trends essentially coming together to short-term rental guests saying, I want things, and wow, now I can get them via on-demand services or amenities available to me in the short-term rental. So right now, people are looking for that anyway.
Yeah, and look, and there we go. So there's the big reveal, folks. That's what we'll be talking about today, is how where the trends are going and how to meet a changing consumer or guest expectation and bring that into your business. Because right now, we're talking about more and more pressures being on your business as there's a more competitive landscape out there. So more and more people coming into the business. As folks are returning to the big urban settings, and going back to hotels, so you've got even more competitors. And then lastly, of course, you've got all the economic pressures, which are going to put a lot of pressure on the business. So when guests are turning up, and this doesn't matter if it's a short-term rental, but also hotels. So older hotels, older motels, so we're doing things the way they used to. You guys have to upgrade. I guarantee it. Otherwise, you're going to really suffer because everyone else is upgrading around you. But once we've upgraded our place and once we've made it all nice, we need to then deliver even more if we want to command a much higher price. So when we talk about guests getting things on demand, about amenities, about improving the guest experience, I would love to get your thoughts on this idea of the blend between an upsell versus adding value to a guest. And then we'll talk about later on, just so everyone knows, we'll talk about trends and things that you can do in your business. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that sort of juxtaposition of.
Well, first I will say, so on our, we have about 15,000 hosts on our main social channels, and we poll people a lot, and hosts in general run from anything upsell, right? Is generally what I've found is that, and we have found, because most hosts think, oh, I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to be there. I don't want to have to say, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Right? And also, never, ever nickel and dime anybody. What we like to say is don't ever sell anything to anyone that is under $20, right? And if it is under $20, you should be providing that for free if you can, right? So an example of that is give someone a 6-pack of LaCroix, right? Give them a sleep mask. Those are the kind of things that they're going to remember, those nice little things. But when every other guest says, do you have an extra phone charger? And you know you're not getting a phone charger back if your guest uses it, right? That is outside of the scope of what you can provide for free. So always give what you can. And there's so many little touches that don't cost very much that you can give for free, right? The note, the welcome basket. But in terms of upsells versus value add, making sure that essentially every upsell, anything you can offer is always positioned as completely as a value add. You are never selling anything to anyone. And I think that is key to, in hotels, in short-term rentals, it's, hey, if you're interested in a mid-stay clean, because we see you're staying for a long time, right? Or you showed up with 7 kids. Do you need how about same-day laundry service, right? Or a big holiday is coming up, flowers and chocolate. Those can be at your door an hour after you arrive. Even so far as, hey, we know you're booking in Austin during South by Southwest. Would you like 2 badges, and would you like them delivered to your door right after you check in? All of those things, first of all, they're going to be value add. Even if people are paying for them, they're still positioned as value add, right? And they also give you a distinct edge in your property as well. So you can even write those into your listing, depending on if it's, if there's a seasonality to it. Or, for example, here's a great one because everyone remembers this one. The Super Bowl is coming up. We have hosts in Phoenix who are offering a charcuterie board in the shape of the team logo. And who wouldn't order that, right? That's probably going to cost you $200, right? But that's going to be what you take an Instagram. Here's another part of that upsell versus value add is, what are people going to take an Instagram? I don't want to say just Instagram, but take a photo of, post it online, show all of their friends. It's not just the Instagram wall anymore, or the, the cowboy pool necessarily. It's those additional things that you can bring in to make it something that they want to rebook, or something that their friends will want to rebook.
Yeah, wow. So there's so many different ideas that are kind of coming to my mind based on what you've said already. And I think that that's the reason why I really enjoy talking to you, is because when you start to get in a few ideas, then your brain just starts going everywhere, going, we can do this and we can do that. So through this episode, folks, you're going to get so many different ideas of ways that you can implement technology into your business to provide a better guest experience, and to do add-ons and that sort of thing. But I want to push you a little bit harder on differentiating between what an add-on is and what's to be kind of already expected as part of the property. And I'm going to give you an example to really make your life a bit difficult, hopefully. I had a client of mine reach out to me and said, hey Bart, over the Christmas period, we've been inundated with EVs, so electric vehicles, and they all expect to charge for free, to charge their cars for free. And there's this kind of debate of, well, how much does it cost? So charging an EV overnight is anywhere between sort of $5 to $10 roughly, depending on how long and that sort of thing, if you're not using a fast charger. So how do we, as hosts, as hoteliers, how do we figure out, is there a formula that we can use? Well, that we can charge as an add-on, that we can't. How do we figure out a good baseline to work from?
I understand people saying, oh, it should be included, right? I think the first thing is bundle things. And make sure they're not a $5 item. Again, people in general, $5 for parking, right? When you talk about where we are in Joshua Tree, Palm Springs, everyone charges for pool heating. And it's like $200 for a week, right? And it has just become really normal because it's expensive, right? People don't know that it's expensive. So putting that up front, offering something like unlimited charging this much. I mean, it's interesting how you would control that, right? But I'd say bundling in general would be it, or just making it very, very clear, obviously, in your notes what is included and not included. That is something, that's the cardinal sin, right? Is putting something in your listing and then charging for it, right? That's like saying, we have a llama farm, and then, they arrive and you say, great, it's $20 to see the llamas. You never do that, right? But after booking, the other thing is, don't mention it. And then after booking, again, positioning things as an offer. If it is something that it is really adding up and it is really cutting into your bottom line to do EV charging, right after they book, say, here's the amenities available to you. And maybe include that as an amenity, just even so it's socialized, right? Right after booking, so it's socialized, I think is key to that.
Yeah, I love it. I think there's some great tips in there. And the one that really strikes to me is nickel and diming. So if it's a low value cost to your business, some of it you're just going to have to wear or include in the price of the actual booking. Because otherwise people will not feel great about booking with you. You're going to make them feel crap before they've even started. And then you're probably going to try to add on other things and do that. And they're going to be like, if you're charging $5 or $10 for the car charging, what else is it going to be? So I love that. And then let's go back and have a quick talk about guest expectations and things changing within the marketplace and where we see that going. So last year, if you were in a short-term rental, it was kind of money for jam. People would just turn up and they were kind of clamoring over each other. Everyone was putting up their prices. This year, it's predicted to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot tougher. So therefore, we need to improve our service offering. The way I see it is that we need to not only offer a great place to stay, but we also need to ensure that the experience is consistent, that it's exceptional, and that it meets our customers' needs. And to meet our customers' needs, we need to understand our customers. So that's customer avatar, which we'll come back to. But when we're offering these upsells and add-ons and that sort of thing, where do you see that fitting into this puzzle?
In a couple of places. I completely agree. We were in an area that was for my own rentals, super high demand, and then just in general, super low predictability, right? You don't know what you're actually going to get or how good it's going to be. So making sure you're very consistent. And then mentioning, so in terms of, again, add-ons and upsells, either including that in your rental. So this is another thing that that we are seeing is spa weekend, and everything is included, right, in that, and you can charge a whole lot more for that if you put that together yourself, or you figure out the bundle that you need that includes massage therapy for two. It includes flowers or what have you, right? And you can set that up as one package, or directly after booking, you can always say, we have additional items available, including in your listing, things that are going to catch people's attention, things that are, the whole journey that you're sending them on. You'll arrive and we've talked about this, you'll arrive and sit by the sea, and then you'll optionally included bohemian picnic for 4 in an inflatable bubble on the beach. Just, again, that positioning, just let us know if you'd like that while you're here, right? Or, hibachi dinner for 10 available. Those are the things that, mentioning it, but making sure that it's not included, it's available, or if you'd like this, right? If you can include that in your listing, and people go, their ears perk up because they've been reading other listings where they don't have any of that available, right? And then directly after booking, just an automated, and what our service does, it's an automated digital storefront where you can essentially offer any of these services, and then it connects to your vendor or our vendor and schedules everything and pays them out. So you're not doing much, which is great. But sending that right after booking, and showing, again, people might not say, oh, I want that hibachi dinner for 10 now, but it's socialized. So as they get closer, or as they start really planning on, okay, what are we going to do? Where are we going to eat? Well, it would be great one night is this, that, and the other, right? So making sure right after that, booking adrenaline, oh my gosh, I'm planning. And then what we see hosts doing, some of our top sellers, they're sending, they do quite a bit of direct booking. They'll send an email 30 days before they arrive, and they will include an image of their store so you can see, because nobody reads anymore. Sad. I mean, we're all looking at 8 screens at once. So seeing those different things that are available is a real driver of people, oh, I want that, and that.
Yeah. I love that, and I think that one of the formats that's come out really strongly this year, and I think that this is a good tip for everyone, is to use video a lot more as well. So if you can create a little video, and it doesn't have to be well produced, all you have to do is, and there was a coach that taught me this. He's like, oh, Bart, it's so easy. Why are you putting so much effort into it? And he said, look, get your camera, film your face saying, I'm going to show you blah, blah, blah. Stop, flip the camera, show whatever it is that you're trying to do, just as if you're reading it. Have a look at this, and then flip the camera back. Isn't that amazing? Wow. And then you stick it all together using either Instagram or an app. It takes you literally a few minutes, and all of a sudden you've got a piece of content which is quite engaging and that people really like, and you're building a bit of personality too. So that's what I'm doing, and I suggest for my clients. What's fascinating about this conversation that we're having is that this idea isn't new, and it's been something that I've been thinking about for a year and a half. I did a course on this maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, because we're trying to find ways to get more margin out of a property, but also really importantly to improve the guest experience. One of the things that you've kind of started to lean into is, rather than just talking about upsells and selling and giving people this and that, and they have to spend more money, there's a whole converse of it, which is selling an experience. So the experience can be, and one of the ones that I love is, you're on the property, a helicopter will come and pick you up and then take you to a local winery for some wine sample. Then you'll have some wonderful lunch, and then you'll get helicoptered back. And then when you get back to the room, it's all set up nice, and you've got the gowns out, you've got flowers and whatever else, right? So the ultimate romance package, and the margin that you make on that is just ridiculous, because the price doesn't matter anymore, right? It doesn't matter. It's the experience that you're getting. And then from a host perspective, to set all of this up, it is not incredibly expensive if you price it correctly. So this more experience type economy and that sort of thing, I think it's really important to understand, and understanding what we have to offer and where the market is going. So I don't recommend that everyone starts to do these kind of experiences, but there will be experiences that fit your guest avatar. Are you seeing any trends? What are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think you are so right on that it is really specific to the rental, and obviously what you can put together or put together with vendors. We see people who are literally selling North Carolina state-shaped Christmas ornaments all year long, and that's all they sell, right? But they're adding, I don't know, $30, 30 to 60, because people buy them. I don't know why they do, but that's $60 per booking. It starts to add up, right? And then we see people who are doing quite a bit of higher price items. I would recommend doing things that are a much you're going to get a higher margin on them, but it's just fascinating what works for each location, right? Personal chef is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Anything mid-stay laundry, even if you have laundry, having someone fold it and put it away, it feels like a vacation, right? If you look at the pie graph of what full service hotels offer, full service hotels make roughly 30% of all of their revenue on upsells. And if you look at short-term rentals, it's almost nothing or nothing, right? In full service hotels, the largest category is food and bev by far, and that's because they have bars. We all love booze, right? But food and bev, if you just map to that, is going to be your best, even if it's $400 in snacks dropped off, right? I'd do that with my girlfriends for the weekend, right? The next category is wellness. And that is something that, if you're talking about trends, even, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, that probably was alterations rather than wellness. But wellness is massive, and that's what people want to do with their weekends, right? One of our biggest sellers, massage, Reiki, sound bath, facial, meditation session with a professional coach, private yoga. And again, I mean, these are often, I would say they're booked more by female guests than male guests, but it really depends. IV hydration, which is where a nurse, I don't even know if you can do this out of the States or even out of California and Las Vegas.
I think the first time I saw it was in Vegas when I was over there, and I was so tempted. I was like, in the morning I woke up, I was like, oh, okay, I've had a Vegas night, and I'm like, oh, I understand it.
And it is expensive, but again, anything involving wellness or hangover, those are absolutely huge. And then certainly alterations, which if you have a property management software, most of them can do late checkout, early check-in, mid-stay clean, but you can go far beyond that. We see quite a bit of pool heating, access to different spaces that you couldn't, that were not, again, that were not on your write-up. So you're not saying, again, you have access to everything and you don't. We're also seeing personal trainer, or like someone coming in to do a person, and those are more for mid-stay clean. And then you get down to those smaller slices, rentals, things like bikes, kayaks, we see that. And then just goes down from there. But I would always say focus on that food and bev, focus on wellness, and then some unique experiences if you can put in those as well.
Yeah, look, I think some great advice. I think the one bridge that I want to explain to everyone is the bridge of why would a guest choose to purchase whatever through you, even though it might be more expensive than if you were to Google it. And it's it's a really interesting one, because for this kind of stuff, you would think, well, you know what, Annie? I'm smart enough. I'm going to jump on Google, and I'm just going to Google it and find the best restaurant or private chef or the best spa. I don't want, some crappy spa thing. I want the one that's rated 5 stars from blah. And the key to this whole equation is that you as a host, you already have a relationship with a person. Hopefully you've built a lot of trust already through your 5-star ratings, through all your reviews, through what your property is like when they get there, through how it smells when they get there, through the music that you're playing, through the Alexa when they get there. So you've already built all this trust. And the way that you pitch these products is, trust me, I've done all the work for you, and I've found the best to create a great experience for you. And that is exactly what a brilliant concierge would do. You go down and they go, trust me, I'll look after you. Because what happens if the concierge lets you down? One, they're probably not going to get their tips. And two, you can go back to them and look them in their face and say, your recommendations were rubbish. So, but now we do that with reviews. So that is the power of this, and that is how you leverage this. It's not about you just putting stuff together and then, giving an option of 20 different things. It's about finding the best tour of the local city that's put together by Brad, who's been doing it for 20 years, and he's definitely the best. I've got a great relationship, and Brad will look after you because he knows me.
Yeah, I would say also, one, it's trust. Two, it's time. I have been places where, so Joshua Tree again, Instacart doesn't deliver, DoorDash doesn't deliver, Caviar doesn't deliver, because you're out there. There's only one service. And do you want your guests spending, 2 hours on Yelp trying to figure that out and then having a poor experience? You're saying, just operationally, let me save you time. You already are trusting in me. And then also, one or two of the more things that that they will book, but what is also unique to you or your listing. We have property managers who hooked up mobile tattoo artists for your bachelor party, who've hooked up beer burros to walk around with saddlebags full of beer, and you have to chase them down, right? Someone who's hooked up tintype photography because it's all the LA hipsters, coming out to the desert. Those are unique to you and unique to your property. We also have someone who they work at a wine shop, and they said, my friend is a sommelier and will come for 4 hours and do a wine tasting, right? Yeah. So what are those unique things that you just can't find anywhere? And then on top of that, what I think this is the key is, what are your guests already asking for? And particularly if you have a property manager and you're not doing it yourself, they're probably not telling you the things that your guests ask for that they can't fulfill, right? If that's, firewood, or that's, where can we find a mobile tattoo artist? But your guests are going to start asking generally the same things about your local area. Oh, we want this, just like everybody else had, right? So just listening first and getting that customer avatar that you're talking about, that guest avatar, meeting, what we like to say is, just like a concierge can do, meet their need right before they even ask for it. So halfway through their stay, hope you're having a great time. Let us know if you need a mid-stay clean, if you need laundry, if you want a private chef. Oh, I was just thinking about all those things, right? So you can really map out the guest needs along the life cycle of their stay, and then meet them there and say, I have a solution, before you've asked me for it.
I love it. Look, Annie, I like to keep our episodes of the Accommodation Show relatively short. I try to keep them within that sort of half an hour window, because I think before we started, you said, I could talk about this for 12 hours. And you know what? I could probably talk about it with you for another couple of days and get pretty deep on all the different things and different ways to plug everything together. A few things I'm going to say. So folks, if you are listening, one of the most important things that you can do is you can subscribe to the channel. We're looking to grow the subscriber base this year into the thousands. One, so that we can monetize it and get a little bit of money back, but more so that we can provide more value and keep on doing what I'm doing and getting in front of these amazing industry leaders, these innovators, these creators, and getting them and convincing them to come on and share their time and their experience with you. So please subscribe. Leave your comments below. We'd love to know what kind of amenities you are offering and what kind of upsells you are offering, and whether you've thought about it at all. The last thing, I'm going to do a little pitch for myself. Actually, no. Annie, tell people how they can get in touch with you, and whether you've got any special deals for our listeners.
Yes. So you can find us at www.thehost.co. You can sign up to get the playbook on how to implement all amenities easily. Again, this would have been done 10 years ago if it wasn't a pain in the bleep. Insert whatever down you want. So that's the important thing, is how we can add this very quickly. That's www.thehost.co, and we do have a promo code. Use code, I have to look it up.
TAS.
TAS.
The Accommodation Show, folks.
TAS, and you will get $50 back from the first item you sell in your store, no matter what that is.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that offer, and I know it'll make a difference. And folks, this is all about the one thing that I really want to stress to everybody, and particularly when things are tough, profitability is of course important in your business, but making an exceptional guest experience and making sure you focus on an experience, that is what will give longevity in your business, is making sure that you're doing stuff that other people are not. The one last little plug that I'm going to do is I am actually doing a course called the Revenue Maximizer Mastermind, where we will be talking all things upsells, packages, with guides and instructions of how to figure out your guest avatar, how to figure out your relationships and your partnerships, because there's huge opportunities for cross promotion and social media and that sort of stuff. And then lastly, how to put together the packages and make them look absolutely exceptional. That's something that we'll be doing, and the links will be in the show notes as well. Annie Sloan, you are exceptional. I hope to see you soon, and I hope that we can do lots of work together. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so darn fun. Sounds
beautiful.
So
Look, I think I'll be coming over there soon, and we can sit down and have a few beers and wines and talk all night.
Yeah, that sounds great. And maybe we can actually I've never actually done it, the IV hydration. Maybe we should do it. And take lots of photos and post them on Instagram.
I can imagine. But what do we have to do the night before to then do the hydration?
Just have fun. Just have fun.
Just have fun. All right, everyone's invited. All right, take care. Have a fantastic rest of the day. We'll speak again soon. See you later.